What's up, everybody? Nick here. We are looking at Cyclops from Mezco, part of their 112 Collective. Pose, play, display. So this is the box in classic X-Men colors. You go to the side. There's the back. Shows you a couple pictures of Cyclops. The figure he comes with, an extra head, 6 interchangeable hands, 2 different versions of the optic blast, smoking visor, tailored jacket, a display stand, and a display arm. Okay, out of the way. Let's get the base out first. Nice looking X-Men base. Let's zoom in here. Whoop. There we go. Nice X-Men base. I love that they kept the blue ring around it because he is the leader of the blue team. Back in the Jim Lee age, there was the blue and the gold team. He was the leader of the blue team. So I like that they put that on there. I hope that if they do other Jim Lee style X-Men figures that they change the color according to the team. Overall, I love this display stand. It doesn't say X-Men on it. It doesn't say Cyclops. It's just nice and clean. All right, let's look at the figure. Let's get him on his base first, and we'll talk about him overall. Excuse me. Overall, great looking figure. Don't know if he needs the yellow shorts or not. I'm kind of on the fence. Keep going back and forth. I like him, but I don't know if the yellow shorts would make him look a little bit better or worse. So I'm right there on the fence. I know a lot of people said, where are yellow shorts? Okay, so I put the jacket on first and foremost because it's going to be easier to take it off as we go through the figure. Jacket overall is nice. Feels a little flimsy. Feels like it might wear and tear after a while. I know it needs to be flexible so that you can get the poses in there. If it was too thick or too tight, you won't be able to move his arms at all, and then people will be complaining about that. So it's the best that you're going to get for this style, in my opinion. I think it fits him well and looks great. All right, let's get it off him, though, so we can keep going over the figure. The light feature, which he has, I will go over at the very end. All right, jacket is off. And since I have his hands off, we'll go over his hands first. Easiest to take on and off the jacket with the hands off. Let me grab a drink real quick. Okay, 6 interchangeable hands. He comes with the fist, as almost every single, which probably every single Mezco figure comes with. So he comes with a karate chopping hand, as I like to call it. I know he's not karate chopping with it. He's probably usually just like a command looking hand, saluting hand, as it were. I like that these hands have a little bit of detail to them. They got that little X symbol in there. Nice little extra detail. Goes a long way. All right, here is the 2-fingered hand, which I know people are like, what's with the 2 fingers? Cyclops, if you know the character, which you probably do if you're watching this video, used to fire off his optic blast by putting his fingers up to his visor. He does have a control in his hand that can actually open and close them, but you can probably get there if you try. Just get there perfectly. So there's what the 2 fingers are for. You can get right on the eyes, and as we talk, I'll leave that up there. He's got 2 of the, as I call them, the claw hands, which are the semi-open left and right to those. There you go. Sorry for the wolf and the dogs at my feet. Ah, come on. All right. So you got the claw hand, you got the open hand. You got the claw, open hand, like I said, and the 2-fingered hand. That's all the hands you get. All right, so let's go over the assortment of visors. We'll go over the head last. So you get the regular visor, and you get another regular visor, which I think is kind of weird. Now, if somebody in the comments can tell a difference between these 2 visors, let me know, because they look spot on identical to me. Maybe one's a little fatter than the other, but really it's insignificant. So I know, there you go. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with these, like why they gave you so many. Maybe because if you keep swapping these, it gets a little loose, and they want you to have extra in case you lose them. But yeah, so you have an extra visor that it comes with. He comes with the regular visor in. He comes with an extra visor like that. He comes with the same thing, 2 smoking visors, which looks pretty cool. Looks a lot better once you put the light on. But you get the smoking visor. You get a second smoking visor. And you do get a second head, which is the screaming head, or the firing the optic blast head, which looks great. Teeth, I think, need a little bit more better with the paint. It almost looks like from a distance at times, it looks like one of his teeth is missing, but that, I think, is just a little bit mispaint of the white. It's there. I love the stress lines in the forehead. So, like, you can see the lines in there, which I think they changed that from smooth to, like, you can see the pressure in the eyes, which I think is great. I love also the hair. If you notice that the hair is very smooth and, like, calm with the regular head, and then with the screaming head, there's more turbulence to it. Like, you can feel the force of the optic blast coming out of his eyes. So, speaking of optic blast, so we'll pop in the smoking, and then we'll get to the optic blast. So I guess maybe they wanted you to have the ability just to swap between the two real quickly, so you don't have to, like, pop out one, put it in the other, pop in the other, put it in that one, and I guess it just give you extra. So you get like three standard optic blasts, 2 smoking visors. Okay, and we get the optic blast itself, which I'll put on him. Let's see, I'll do that. So this is the heavy optic blast. Not a huge fan of it. I think it gets a little ridiculous when it gets out that far, and the giant ball at the end with the, like, kind of flames on it, which is kind of funny because he doesn't shoot fire. It's not, there's no heat in the optic blast. I'm playing my nerdage there. It's a concussive blast. Basically, that means it's going to hit a wall. It's going to pulverize it. There's no heat. So, like, the kind of flame effect kind of seems kind of weird to me, but also this giantness of it. I think to me it's a little bit more precise, but I guess when he lets loose, it's a little bit more savage. So that comes out. And here's the more precise looking one, which is a bit shorter, which I'm a little bit happier with. So that, to me, I know it's short. Maybe if it was a little bit longer, but, like, to me, that's typical. And remember, your guy also, remember, display-wise, how much space do you got? Like, do you want something that's shooting across the room? Do you want one that's going to hit an enemy? Like, how are you going to use this as a display purpose? I don't know. So you got the short one, you got the long one, whichever one you're happier with, if you're happier with either, or if you just want a more stoic, with the regular classic head. So, all right, so we went over all the accessories, and we kind of touched on the figure, but let's go over all the fun articulation and all the plastic and all the fabric on it, because I like to do that. All right, put the smoking head over here. All right. So, plastic-wise, everything's plastic that's in yellow. Everything in blue, except for the head and the neck, is fabric. So it's an easy way to figure out what is what. Articulation-wise is a little bit unique from their standard figures. He's on a ball joint, so you can swap the heads. The light gimmick is in the neck, which we will get to at the very end. Articulation, shoulder joints, check. Top of the bicep, double jointed elbow. Joint there. Ball joint wrist. Ab crunch. Waist. Hip. Double jointed knee. Ankle. No toe. And that's it. So, overall thoughts, I think he's a great looking figure. I think that a lot of people, if they pass on him, are going to rush out and grab him. I don't think he's going to be that easy to find. I think that people underestimate his popularity, and I think that this looks great. And if you actually look at the costume itself, he has the X symbol on his chest. It's subtle. And the extra, they do this, they put the extra vinyl on the figures. This one, it works really well on. There's some that might be a little bit too much. I think that this one's subtle enough that you really don't notice it. And there's been so many different versions of Cyclops with his different costumes. I think that Mezco, maybe if they would have included the yellow shorts, that you could have just like slid over and chosen which style you wanted to look like. If you wanted to look slave true to the Jim Lee, or if you wanted them to look in their fashion. But I think this is more of a modernized version of him that looks like it has an homage to Jim Lee, but it's also not in the era of I'm going to wear shorts on top of my clothes. So I think that's why you don't get this shorts over look. But is he worth the $100 price point? If you're a fan of the X-Men and a fan of Cyclops, absolutely. If you're so-so and you could like you're happy with the Marvel Legend, okay. You might be able to pass on considering he is expensive. Do I think he's going to go down in price? Absolutely not. Do I think that if you need to buy him, you should buy him now? Probably. If you're on the fence, get him now. He's not going to go down in price. He's going to stay probably at this price range for a long time, if not go higher. So if you're on the fence, get him now so that you're not like, I should have picked him up when Nick said to, and I didn't. Yep, that's what's going to happen. So there you go, guys. Let's get into the final part of this video, which is the gimmick, and that is the light feature. Okay, so light feature time. You pop off the head, and you can see here that there's this weird, creepy eye, which is ironic for Cyclops. All right, so you got to turn it counterclockwise, pulls out. So you can see now that like there's no articulation in the neck. This is all one solid piece. And that's because you have this cylinder here, which holds the batteries, which to me doesn't seem like it holds the battery part doesn't stay together very nicely. It's only held on by a peg on one side, this side, away from the light. So let's get that open for you. The gimmick part of this video is going to take a little bit, just to let you guys know. Okay, so here we go. So there are the batteries. Flat side up, which it tells you, so it's positive side up. So that's all it is. And it's got this one itty bitty little pin there to keep it in place. And a little tab at the top that fits in. So there you go. You turn it on, which I think is also kind of weird, but I think that's the only place that they could put it. The power switch is at the bottom. So for you to turn this on is not easy. So you turn it on first, drop it in with the eye back, so that when you turn it to lock it in place, see, locked in place, not going to come out, that's up top. And then the head just pops over top. I know you can't see it, so give me a second. And we'll get all nice and dark in here. 1, 2, 3. And I'll turn off the overhead light. So there you go. There it is with the lights off. Now, it's going to look a lot more dim in person. So don't be like, oh my God, he looks like a giant just red bulb. There is some redness to his face, which I think actually kind of works, honestly. So there is this with the smoking visor. Now when I pull this off, you're going to see a lot of the red. Let's see here. Here's the regular visor, which is obviously very similar to the smoking visor, just without the smoke, which you guys aren't really seeing. It's just like a blur. There we go. I'll bring it closer for you guys so you can see that. The face, it does not glow that much red. It's more forehead, and his lips don't get really dark, lit up. So that comes out. Look at this is the other thing about the light gimmicks, the optic blast. I know we need to get them because if you didn't carry them, then people will be upset, but it doesn't actually travel the entire piece of the plastic. I know the blurriness. I think it's just because of the lack of lighting. See if I can get you to focus. There we go. The light effect doesn't reach the end. It only gets maybe to about the tip. So you're going to have that issue with any kind of light effect. The light does not travel across the plastic. It looks cool, but if you're expecting the light to travel across the entire optic blast, it's not going to happen. Same thing for the big one. And then I'll turn back on the lights. It doesn't get to the end. So you got like really like heavy blast here, travels out. I don't know if there's any way you could ever get a light to be that bright inside such a small figure to travel across the entire thing. So there you go. So, all right, hang on, guys. Here comes a little bit of brightness. Okay. So there you go, guys. That is Cyclops. That is the gimmick. Overall, I think he's a great figure. Gimmick-wise, the gimmick is cool and it's needed, but it's very hard to turn on and off on the fly. Great for photography. If you're taking pictures of him and you want him to have that optic blast, I think it's great. I think it'll show up nicely on camera if you had the right lighting. I wish there was a way to like remote turn it on and off. That'd be even more amazing. I know it's a small figure, so you're not going to get that kind of stuff. But anyway, overall, fantastic figure. A+ Mezco, one of my favorite characters, done well, and I'm happy with him. He's going to be at one of the prominent points in my collection. Absolutely. Can't wait to see the PX version, see how that one interacts with this one, see if we can swap the heads and so on and so forth. But overall, guys, I think he's definitely worth buying, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm out. See ya.